over 5,000 years, the Chinese people created a splendid civilization on the lands nurtured by the Yellow River and the Yangtze River. During this long period of time, dynasties came and went, and the Chinese culture waxed and waned. Grand and moving stories have played out on the historical stage of China. A 150 years ago, a specter, the communist specter, appeared in Europe. In the beginning of the 20th century, under the name of the Communist Party, it found a place to stay in China while the national power was deteriorating. Since then, China has faced unprecedented challenges. Everything the CCP has touched has been marred with lies, wars, famine, tyranny, massacre, and terror. Traditional faiths and values have been violently destroyed. Original ethical concepts and social structures have been disintegrated by force. Empathy, love, and harmony have been twisted into struggle and hatred. Veneration and appreciation of heaven and earth have been replaced by an arrogant desire to fight with heaven and earth. This has resulted in a total collapse of social, moral, and ecological systems, and a profound crisis for the Chinese people and the entire mankind. In the 1990s, the former Soviet Union and Eastern European communist regimes fell one after another, and the formerly blossoming appeal of the communist movement wilted. Barely able to maintain its feeble existence, the Communist Party has become impotent. Under its seemingly powerful and prosperous appearance is a tattered and torn picture of its crumbling end. With the collapse just around the corner, China may soon evolve into a society without the CCP. On the eve of the new replacing the old, we must reflect upon this phase of history. What is the Communist Party? How did the Chinese Communist Party begin? What did the Communist Party bring to China and the Chinese people? And how can the Chinese people maintain their traditions and pass them on to later generations? These are the questions that the Chinese people face today. The overturned cart in front is a warning to the carts behind. By reflecting the true history of the CCP, we can help prevent such tragedies from ever recurring. In the process, each of us can also re-examine our inner world. Are there many tragedies that shouldn't have happened, but indeed happened, due to our weakness and compromises? The year 1840, the beginning of China's contemporary era, marked the start of China's journey from tradition to modernization. From then on, Chinese civilization experienced 4 major episodes of challenge and response. The invasion of Beijing by the Anglo-French Allied force in the early 1860s, and the desertion of Emperor Xianfeng of the Qing dynasty, created unprecedented shock to the Chinese people and forced China to respond with the Westernization movement. In 1894, the Sino-Japanese War broke out and China was defeated. This caused Chinese people to re-examine the Westernization movement, which emphasized imports of modern goods and weapons. People pushed for institutional reforms through the 100 Days Reform in 1898 and attempted to establish constitutional rule at the end of the late Qing dynasty. In 1904, in order to vie for an advantage in China, a war between Russia and Japan broke out in northeast China. The Qing dynasty declared neutrality over the battle fought on her own soil, which enraged the populace and intellectuals. Afterwards, China began a more intense transformation and started the Xinhai Revolution in 1911. It overthrew the monarchy and built the Republic of China. In 1918, at the end of the First World War, though China emerged victorious, its benefits were not considered at the Paris Peace Conference by stronger powers at that time, which led to the May 4th movement. Many Chinese believed that the first 3 episodes of response had failed. In extreme disappointment and anger, some people chose to follow the path of violent revolution, as had just occurred in Russia. This led to the 4th and last episode of Challenge, with the most powerful impact. It has affected China for nearly a century and continues today: the communist movement. Quote, "The communists disdain to conceal their views and aims. They openly declare that their ends can be attained only by the forcible overthrow of all existing social conditions." Unquote. This quote is taken from the concluding paragraph of the Communist Manifesto, the Communist Party's principal document. Violence is one of the main means by which the Communist Party gained power. This character trait has been passed on to all subsequent forms of the party that have arisen since its birth. The world's first Communist Party was established many years after Karl Marx's death. This party grew out of the use of violence against so-called class enemies and was maintained through violence against party members and ordinary citizens. According to statistics, during Stalin's purges in the 1930s, the Communist Party of the Soviet Union slaughtered over 20 million so-called spies, traitors, and those thought to have different opinions. As a branch of the Third Communist International, which was controlled by the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, the CCP naturally inherited the willingness to kill. In August 1927, when the Beiyang warlords had just been overthrown by the nationalist government, and China was soon to be unified, the CCP initiated an armed rebellion in Nanchang, Jiangxi province, and established the Chinese Soviet. During the so-called Civil War between the nationalists and communists from 1927 to 1936, the population in Jiangxi province dropped from over 20 million to only about 10 million. The damage wrought by the CCP's use of violence can be seen from these figures alone. Using violence may be unavoidable when attempting to gain political power, but there has never been a regime as eager to kill as the CCP, especially during otherwise peaceful periods. According to statistical data in The Black Book of Communism, published in 1997 in France, the entire communist movement caused 100 million deaths. Among them, China's death toll was 65 million, a number that surpasses the total casualties of World War I and World War II, and the total casualties of all previous Chinese dynasties. An excellent example of the Communist Party's use of violence to the people is its support of the Cambodian Khmer Rouge. After it captured political power in 1975, it unexpectedly murdered a quarter of Cambodia's